So, a while back I did a couple of videos on this 3-watt Blackstar FLY mini bass amp. And a gentleman by the name of Joseph Esposito, father of the world's first hexaphonic guitar amplifier and cabinet, just asked a question which gave me an idea for a little experiment. He asked, is the bass version of the Blackstar FLY any good for regular guitar? And is it any bigger than the regular guitar version? It's a tiny bit bigger, but it still weighs next to nothing. And I'd show you by comparison, but my FLY is in America. That's my America travel amp. And I have my suspicions because the chief complaint before was that this thing has very little headroom, and it was starting to rattle and fart out at very low volumes. And you need the not included additional power supply for 30 worthless units of fiat, because you hear it start getting tired and straining after just a short while of playing if you do batteries only. So even though the batteries aren't dying, it's kind of like they said the power draw to get bass frequencies. I don't know. You see, Joseph, being a patent holder and all, you know way more about guitars and amplifiers than I ever will. So it's like I can do you a demo now, and we can put this thing through a torture test with regular guitars and do some pedals. This will be fun. We'll hit it with a power driver, but we'll start slow. Let's see what we got. And hey, if anybody else wants a video response, ask me about my stuff here. I mean, I'm sure we can find something to talk about. If you want some kind of expert review from a know-nothing, nobody, noise, rock, no lessons small fry like me, I will be happy to use it as fodder to make another video. So thank you for caring and commenting, Mr. Esposito. Let's dive right in. So we're going to start with my normalist guitar. This is an Ibanez Artcore, some kind of 335 knockoff with my preferred P90 in humbucker format, hand wound by some guy in southern Germany. And for an objectivistic, unbiased, scientific, double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled clinical trial, we're going to have volume gain on 5, EQ on 5, compressor off, overdrive off, sub thingy off. We'll start it out like that, and we'll crank it up incrementally with the overdrive and all that good stuff. So far, so good, eh? Overdrive on, the onboard OD. still got everything on 5. Turn up EQ. Hey, not bad. Ooh, nasty. Ooh, that's nasty. Okay, I'll give you a break. Turn the EQ back down. Now, compressor on 5. Listen to the compressor going up. 0. So I'd say that went better than expected with the P90 single coils. Let's move on to part 2 of the experiment and hit it with some humbuckers. This is my Ovation UK II with some kind of proprietary active supercharged hot rails powered by 2 9-volts. And I moved all the settings back to the same, back to neutral position. Let's start all back from the beginning. And that was without overdrive on. Now, crank up the overdrive. So, what do you think? I'd say it's way better than expected by my low standards, but you can hear the housing rattle and like, I'm not sure if I want to touch it with my toys, but I said I would, so I am going to. But now I'm going to do the baritone test with my trusty Shy Squad Eastwood Sidejack baritone and the power driver and the overdrive and all that stuff. Okay. So I have no idea what's going to happen when I click the power driver on, but this is a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled clinical trial, so only one way to find out. Seems like those single coils can't hang with all that distortion, so let's try something else. Let's try Baphomet here. Ibanez baritone with active humbuckers. Now, It sounds like we made the amp tired, even though it's plugged in. It's not battery powered. Let's see what happens when we turn the overdrive on. Do I have it? Yeah. We have now arrived at the placebo control part of the experiment, which is run a normal bass through it at normal volume and see how it sounds after all that racket. And we got the settings all back to 5, all back to normal and stuff, so let's see what we're going to get. Did we make the amp tired? Well, I'd say it still sounds plus minus all right, but like it's pretty quiet and everything's on 5. Let's see what happens when we kick the overdrive on. I don't know, it sounds okay. The overdrive gives it some punch, but like, it is quiet. It's always been that way. I guess it was amusing to see what the guitar would do to it with the power driver, but... So, Joseph, Mr. Esposito, does that answer your question? Because I bet you knew it would work. It's just kind of a question of how well it's going to work. And frankly, it worked better than I thought. We got some growly sounds. It was making the housing rattle or shake, kind of. You could hear some vibrations going on, and that's the main thing with this amp. When you try to drive it, you hear the housing vibrate, and it's not a terribly confidence-inspiring feeling. But as the patent holder to the world's first hexaphonic guitar amp, you probably knew that you can plug a guitar into a bass amp, but still. So I would stand by my initial verdict that the Boss Micro Katana is good for everything in bass, and it's bigger, and it's got onboard distortion, onboard EQ, and all kinds of stuff. I would just generally get this, unless you need to have it be almost pocket size. I mean, this thing still works, as we just heard. Just kind of sounds a little bit underwhelming after all that guitar. So let's see what happens when we crank everything to 11 for the all-round carefree outro.